Amigos de la charla, hoy estamos de manteles largos, definitivamente. Está con nosotros Joseph Kosinski. No voy a hablar más porque realmente tenemos que hablar muchísimo con él. Director de Top Gun Maverick. Bienvenido, Joseph.
Thank you very much.
Well, let's just talk about a little bit about your career because I think it's necessary to know um, what other movies you have directed before if they don't know, if the audience doesn't know, so
Okay.
that it can make much more sense when we talk about Top Gun. I think one of the movies that everybody remembers is Only the Brave.
Hmm. Yes, that was for me. That's a really special project because I just found this story so important and so compelling, and getting to represent the lives of those men for
Yes.
me was a very an incredible learning experience, and just I was so honored to be able to tell their story.
Can we say that probably your choice for the character of Jennifer Connelly comes from there because you have worked with her already in a similar theme?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, Jennifer is an incredible actor, obviously,
Yes.
and I had such a great experience working with her on Only the Brave, and I just found that she on screen brings a emotional intelligence
Yes.
to her characters that is so real and so grounded, that I felt like she would be a fantastic Penny Benjamin. And so when I asked her, and to read the Top Gun script, I was delighted when she said she loved it and that she wanted to be a part of the process, a part of the project. So I feel very lucky to have made two films with her.
Let's talk about a little bit also about Oblivion. It's impossible not to talk about it if I'm talking with you.
Okay.
What I see in these movies of yours is that it doesn't matter how much sci-fi or action there is. There's a lot of soul.
Yeah. Well, I'm attracted to stories that have both. That have a compelling emotional story or journey, and then also have a canvas that allows you to kind of create something that looks different and maybe sounds different than anything you've seen before. To create a world that the audience gets to transport into during that 2 hours of making the movie, and or watching the movie, and living inside this kind of sealed universe of the film, to me, is one of the things I enjoy creating that experience for the audience. And so I guess I'm drawn to stories that allow for that.
Let's talk about now Top Gun Maverick. With projects like this, they can go really well, but they can also go really bad. There's nothing in between when it comes to second parts this important. If it's okay, it's going to be bad. If it's, yeah, I know, it's entertaining, it's going to be bad as well. It has to be better than the first one. So, first of all, how do you prepare mentally and professionally to take on such a task and a risk?
Well, uh, I I was really excited and passionate about the story that we were telling. I really believed that this relationship between Maverick and Goose's son was going to be a very strong emotional spine to the film, and I knew Tom did as well. So when you really believe in your story, uh, it makes working on it every day a pleasure, because you really believe in what you're making. And yes, we all felt the pressure of making a sequel to Top Gun, because we all are fans of that original film and have so much respect for the film and what it did. But, you know, I had Tom Cruise as Maverick. I've got Jerry Bruckheimer producing it.
Yes.
I've got Val Kilmer coming back as Iceman. So I've got a few of the key ingredients,
right,
you know, working alongside me. And that, you know, made me feel good about, you know, trying to take it on with those guys, you know, on the team.
How did this project came to you? Who offered it? Take us back to the first conversations with Paramount and with Tom Cruise.
Yeah. Well, it started almost exactly 5 years ago. Jerry Bruckheimer sent an early version of a script over to me and wanted to see if I had any ideas. So I went to his office and we talked for about an hour, and I kind of told him my take on what the story could be.
What were your ideas? What were your non-negotiables, let's say?
Well, the first and most important thing was the Maverick Rooster storyline. This idea of Maverick getting pulled back into Top Gun to teach Goose's son how to do a mission that would take him deep into enemy territory. So that reconciliation between them, set against this dangerous mission, felt like a great way back into the world of Top Gun. And I think Tom agreed. I also pitched him the idea of how we find Maverick at the beginning of the film as a test pilot, because I thought that would be an amazing thing for Maverick to be doing, 36 years later. I pitched him the idea of shooting it practically, which obviously I knew would be for him the only way he'd want to make it. But I had some video and some imagery to show that. And then I pitched him a title, because at that point they were calling it Top Gun 2. And I said, we got to call it Top Gun Maverick, because it's a character-driven story, you know, another journey for him now as an older man. And I think those ideas gave Tom enough confidence that we had a story that was worth pursuing, and that was the beginning of this whole journey for me.
Amazing. But and thinking about it, I mean, I already saw the movie. I covered the premiere and the junket, but when you see Maverick as a testing pilot, you're like, look, if he would have gone up in range, probably he wouldn't be flying anymore. And you want Maverick to be flying.
Yes. Yeah, no, he stays a captain. So he never became an admiral or anything. He always wants to fly. That's what Maverick lives for. And it was kind of interesting parallel to Tom Cruise, who lives for making movies. You know, that's him. So I feel like this character is very close to who Tom is as a person as well, which is why he holds it so dearly. It's such an important character for him to bring back.
The parallels between Maverick and Tom are so much. They keep pushing their limits. And Tom is a pilot himself. And we have to say, for our audience, every single shot of him flying, it's him flying, actually flying. We are going to talk about the training for the cast. We're going to talk about everything. But no, Tom flying the planes.
Yeah, he's in those planes, and he does actually fly some of them for real in the film.
Let's talk about the most difficult task of choosing your cast and making them adaptable to all what they were going to go through in the movie. Because I think this cast went through a lot of things that, the original cast didn't, because I think it was only like 2 or 3 guys actually flying, Tom and another couple of guys, but I
think only Tom's footage is the only stuff that made it into the final movie. Everyone else got so sick in the first film trying to shoot those sequences that they ended up shooting all the cockpit footage on the ground at Burbank Airport in a hangar. So for us to do this film in camera, in real airplanes, Tom devised a training course for every actor to go through that would get them ready to actually be in these airplanes for real. And it took about 3 months to get their G tolerance up, which is, you know, the ability to take those forces on your body and be able to act. So with his, you know, experience, he knew it was going to be, they would need that training in order to be able to make this film.
Was, I don't know, taking a flight and not puking part of the casting process? And I'm not joking, like, because what happens when one of the actors that you choose for the cast cannot tolerate that? How do you prepare? Yeah, how do you do that?
Well, I tried to be very upfront with them at the beginning when we were casting to say that this role would require them going in an airplane, and I wanted to make sure no one had a fear of flying. Some actors pulled out when they found out, and very early in the process, like didn't want to be considered because they were, you know, some said they were afraid to fly commercial airplanes. So, so by the time we narrowed it down, you know, I think every actor we have in the film, we really chose based on their ability to act and play the characters primarily, but they all said they were up for the training, and somehow they all got through it. And I think it's just because they really wanted to be a part of this story, and it was difficult, but they never gave up. And even when the flying got hard, and even if they did get sick in the cockpit, they continued to shoot and get the footage we needed. So I couldn't be more proud of what the whole cast did on this film to get this footage.
There was a running joke at the junket in which, you know, they were pointing at each other like, no, you puked. No, you puked. I didn't. No, you. And that was kind of like, you know, a matter of, you know, to like be proud. You know, I'm proud that I didn't puke and they did. But when you say, you just said when they were shooting, and let's get into that because you were not up there. So they had to learn. And I mean, you are creating cinematic history. You are like, this has never been done before. You equipped those cabins in which they were flying with, of course, they were flying with a professional pilot, but you equipped those cabins with cameras.
Yeah, well, the camera angles were fixed. There were 6 cameras in the cockpit, so they didn't have to move them, but they did have to turn the cameras and the sound on. So we had a big switch installed in the cockpit that right before they'd start shooting, they would flick the switch, which would turn all 6 cameras on. Wow. And then they would have to act, but they'd also have to make sure the light was in the right place, that they're at the correct altitude. The pilot, the Top Gun pilot they were flying with, had to know what the scene was they were shooting to make sure the maneuvers were correct. So it was a huge team effort to pull it off. But they were so well rehearsed and well prepared and well trained. I had tremendous faith that they were going to be able to get those shots.
And they did. And they were absolutely amazing. And again, we really have to emphasize this. You kind of created this method because it has never been done before. No. And you get the most amazing shots. Let's talk a little bit about the training and then the post-production. So because you said that they trained, but so they went underwater training and then they flew 3 kinds of planes.
Yeah, they flew in a Cessna, which is like a small training airplane. Then they went into a Extra 300, which is an aerobatic prop plane. Then they went into a small jet called an L-39, and then finally the F-18 Super Hornet. Then they had to do underwater escape training that the Navy required for everyone who got in an F-18 in case they had a water landing and had to escape out of the plane. So that was very intense.
And everything was recorded at the Navy base, or most of it in San Diego, right? So
we shot in a variety of Navy bases. Okay. We shot San Diego, Lemoore, California, Fallon, Nevada, Whidbey Island, Washington, and out on the aircraft carrier in the Pacific. Wow. The Teddy Roosevelt, yeah.
So you were really, you shared the day by day with all these pilots and sailors.
Yeah, we lived with them for a couple weeks both, I mean, we lived with them on the ship for a couple weeks, and we lived with them for months on the Navy bases, in the same barracks that they lived in. So it was kind of like joining the Navy for a year.
What do you take from that?
I was just so impressed with their professionalism and their dedication and their skill.
Mm-hmm.
The flying that the Top Gun pilots do in this film is incredible. And these are junior officers. These are the people that are flying these planes every day for the Navy, and they were doing these phenomenal sequences for us as part of their training. So,
Wow.
I just came away so impressed with them, from the bottom, the people that work on the ship, all the way up to the admirals.
Not to mention that probably a lot of the people there flying those planes were maybe a lot of them were inspired by Top Gun 1. Were there conversations like that?
Oh, for sure. No, in fact, Top Gun is so well known that they have a rule where you can't quote Top Gun in the Navy, or else you get fined. So you're not allowed. Yes, you're not allowed to use Top Gun quotes because it's just too easy. So I thought that was funny. But they all love the film. A lot of the admirals joined the Navy in the 1980s when the film came out. So yeah, no, it was great to have all that love for the film while we were working with them.
Now let's talk about post-production, because it's not, if filming the movie was not an easy task, I definitely think that the post-production wasn't easy either.
No, the editorial task of cutting this movie together, we had about 813 hours of footage. So that had to be cut down to 2 hours. So we had an amazing editorial team working on it to, turn it into the film that it is now. But that took, months, if not years, to cut the whole film together.
Working with Tom Cruise, we know how passionate he is about everything he does. But I suspect that for Top Gun, it's even to the 10th, because this is his baby. This is what made him a star. Yes.
No, I had made Oblivion with Tom. I knew how passionate he was and how much he likes to be involved. But with Top Gun, yes, it's a different level, because it is Maverick. So it was great to have both him and Jerry, there, and having the original guys working beside me on this film. I just can't imagine doing it without them. It's a film. It's a love letter to aviation. So if it gets people inspired, and it's not only to be a pilot, but if they want to be a designer or an engineer or work on a carrier, like there's a lot of different ways to participate. But yeah, no, I would love to inspire someone, because it's an amazing opportunity. It's an amazing world to be a part of.
What would you like to tell the audience before Friday?
I would say we designed this movie to be seen on the biggest screen possible with the best sound. So
not on your phone.
No, please do not watch it on your phone for the first time. Do not watch it at home. Go to the theaters, bring your friends, and pick the best theater you have in town. And just, this is a summer movie. This is what I remember the first Top Gun feeling like when I was a kid. So hopefully they'll have the same experience.
It's been a pleasure. I've been telling people already, because I saw the movie almost like 3 weeks ago or more. It's everything that you expect and more. So congratulations for
Thank you.
This amazing movie that I think it's going to be a hit in the box office, but I think it's going to be the hit of the year.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's so nice talking to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.